Some schools in Whitley County were on lockdown after a man was shot multiple times nearby. The latest on that situation just ahead on WKYT at noon.
State police are investigating after one of their own shot and killed a man who they say pointed a gun at the trooper while trying to escape arrest.
That cold front's almost all the way through now. That cooler air is really filtering on in. It's going to be a chilly afternoon with just a little drizzle left over, but it starts to fade as we go through the day. How long do we hold on to this chilly air? We're going to have that coming up in just a few minutes.
WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Welcome to WKYT News at noon. I'm Barbara Billy.
I'm Bill Bryant. We begin with breaking news out of Whitley County, where Corbin Independent Schools were on lockdown this morning after a shooting near the Corbin Middle School.
Police say the shooting happened just before 10 this morning on West 7th Street. WKYT's Victor Puente is live in Corbin now with the very latest information.
Police aren't releasing much information on this shooting, only confirming that a man has been shot and that his wife was also taken to a hospital. Corbin police say that man, Steve Pataki, was shot multiple times, although they aren't sure how many. Some of his family members tell me he's been taken to the University of Tennessee Hospital in Knoxville and is in critical condition. Police say his wife was taken to a hospital here in Corbin, although they haven't said why. Neighbors tell me they heard a large boom at the home around 4 this morning, but police say the shooting happened around 10. They wouldn't comment on a possible suspect or if they had anyone in custody. Investigators are still inside that home. They tell me they may have an update later today, but for now that is all the information they can release. Live in Whitley County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Victor, thank you. And that shooting happened just down the road from a middle school, which was on lockdown for about an hour. That lockdown has since been lifted.
We are learning some new details here at midday about what led up to a state trooper killing a man overnight in Rowan County. It happened on Old Hilda Road off Kentucky 32 north of Moorhead. Police say troopers went to Matthew Brewer's home to serve him an arrest warrant. But what happened next led to Brewer being shot to death. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is in Rowan County with our other top story at noon. Hillary?
State police first came to this house last night to serve an arrest warrant on Matthew Brewer. They say the 22-year-old then tried to run, pointing a gun at a trooper. This all happening at a home at the top of Old Hilda Road. Neighbors say Brewer has lived there with his mother and other family members for several years. State police say when they first got to the home, they made contact with Brewer outside before he ran inside. They say he then tried to get away out a back door. And that is when he pointed a gun at Trooper Michael Armstrong. Investigators say Trooper Armstrong was then forced to use his weapon, shooting and killing Brewer. Many neighbors we spoke to say Brewer was always a good kid growing up, but unfortunately had gotten into some trouble with drugs. Deborah Prather was a bus monitor on the bus Brewer rode to school. She says the drug abuse is severely hurting their community, and drugs have been involved in multiple deaths just on this small street.
They followed peer pressure and got into these things, and it destroyed them. And I'm sad for the families. We will miss them. We miss the other 3 that are gone.
The shooting does remain under investigation by Kentucky State Police. In Rowan County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Hillary, thank you. And state police say they were serving a warrant out of Madison County for reporting a false incident, leaving the scene of an accident, and possession of marijuana, as well as having an open container.
And there's still a chance of rain in the forecast, but how long is it going to be hanging around?
The clouds are out there still. WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris live now in our First Alert Weather Center with a quick look at the forecast.
That drizzle sticks around and really the next few hours. I mean, it doesn't really move anywhere until the clouds go along with it. So when the clouds start to fade, that's when it takes that drizzle along with it. But I would say east and southeastern Kentucky will have it at least the next 3 to 5 hours. Central, north, and northwestern zones, we may even see some peaks of sunshine before it's all said and done. It's 60 degrees right now in Frankfort, 61 in Moorhead. It is, you can see, we're upper 50s, lower 60s. When I walked in this morning, it was 65 degrees here in Lexington. Now we're at 58. So some patchy drizzle the next few hours. Like I said, before the sun sets, more than likely at least some of us will get peaks of sunshine. It'll be more likely north than, say, south. But that sweater weather is what you need heading throughout the rest of the day. We're going to focus in on another front as we get closer toward the weekend. That's coming up.
Okay, we'll see you shortly. Thank you. And Bermuda is pretty much on lockdown here at midday. Hurricane Nicole is about to make landfall, as you can see.
Absolutely massive storm there. Officials say the Category 3 hurricane actually lost some strength overnight. Still, it's packing strong winds and a lot of rain that could cause dangerous storm surge and swells. Even isolated tornadoes are possible. And the death toll in the U.S. in the wake of Hurricane Matthew now stands at 36, with 20 deaths in North Carolina alone. Some Kentucky firefighters who helped with storm relief have returned. We'll hear from some of them coming up on WKYT News at 12:30.
And another news here at midday, a woman killed in a Washington County crash 5 days ago has been identified today. The crash happened Saturday on Kentucky 53. State police say 18-year-old Emily Bowman of Lancaster died in that crash. They say her car hit a tree and caught fire. They were not able to identify her until now. Investigators have also identified a man killed in a weekend crash in Lexington. The coroner says the victim is 36-year-old Jason Washer of Burlington, that's in northern Kentucky. He crashed near the northern split on Saturday. At the time, investigators say he may have fallen asleep or had a medical emergency. The coroner says Washer's cause of death is still pending as far as the official release. We have also learned the names of 3 people killed in a Bell County crash in southeastern Kentucky. It happened yesterday afternoon on Highway 119 outside of Pineville. We've learned that Bobby Miller, William Hampton, and his wife Dina Hampton all died at the scene.
We've learned an arrest has been made after a deadly shooting in Cumberland County. The shooting happened overnight on Veterans Alley in the city limits of Burkesville. State police say 60-year-old Daniel Blair shot and killed 38-year-old Michael Taylor. They say Blair was Taylor's passenger earlier in the evening, but police didn't give any details about what might have led up to that shooting. Blair has been charged with murder. Charges have been dropped against a Louisville daycare worker who left a young boy in a hot SUV, causing his death. According to the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office, a grand jury decided there is not enough evidence to indict 71-year-old Jacqueline Thomas. Thomas admitted to leaving the boy in the SUV for more than 4 hours back in April. When Thomas arrived at an elementary school to pick up other children, he was found unresponsive. Thomas owned a daycare which has since been shut down by the state.
New at noon, Governor Matt Bevin will not ask the state Supreme Court to reconsider its decision on university budget cuts. Bevin ordered the cuts, saying that they were needed to deal with the state's mounting pension debt. Attorney General Andy Beshear then sued him, calling those cuts illegal. And now the ruling in favor of Beshear will become final. While the governor's spokeswoman confirmed to our news partners at the Herald Leader that Bevin had decided not to request a rehearing, she did not explain why. Beshear, meanwhile, has released a statement today saying, quote, "Today is a victory for the rule of law in the Commonwealth. Even the governor is bound by the law." Bevin has not yet released the money from the spending cuts. Beshear says the governor should release it immediately. Well, it is property tax time now.
And the Fayette County Clerk's Office is keeping track of those who haven't paid. The county clerk says delinquent property taxes range from a few $100,000 to thousands of dollars. It just depends on the property. But he says the number of property owners with delinquent property taxes has actually gone down in the past few years because interest and penalties are substantial.
The state, the county, and the school system all miss out on those taxes until they're paid. Folks became aware that by having a delinquent tax bill is a very bad thing for you as a property owner. So our pay rates started to rise.
Tonight on WKYT at 6, find out what properties in Lexington, what owners owe the most in taxes.
Should be an interesting story coming up later today.
Well, Lexington has announced a new public safety operations center.
That facility will be a one-stop shop for all safety needs. The building will house E911, LexCall, and the Division of Emergency Services, as well as the Emergency Operations Center. City leaders say having these services all under one roof will make things more efficient in cases of disaster.
Instead of getting on the phone or the radio across town, we'll be able to problem solve within the same building. We can walk down the hall and problem solve with those key players that need to be at the table.
The building is located off of Versailles and Cisco Roads. It used to be the home of the Juvenile Detention Center. Well, Donald Trump responds to new allegations of sexual misconduct as we learn some new details about Hillary Clinton's leaked emails. The latest from the campaign trail when we come back on WKYT News at noon, Kentucky's #1 midday news.
Welcome back to WKYT News at noon. Donald Trump is denying new allegations of sexual improprieties after several women have come forward saying the Republican nominee touched them inappropriately in the past.
And Democrat Hillary Clinton is dealing with the release of yet more hacked emails from inside her campaign. Craig Boswell has the latest on Campaign 2016.
Donald Trump is on the defensive after several women came forward with stories of how they say the Republican presidential nominee touched them inappropriately in the past.
It was a real shock when all of a sudden his hands were all over me.
Jessica Leeds told the New York Times Trump grabbed her breasts and reached up her skirt during a flight in the 1980s. People magazine writer Natasha Stoynoff wrote a first-person account of a 2005 interview session at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. He was pushing me against the wall and forcing his tongue down my throat. This morning, Trump tweeted that Stoynoff didn't include the incident in her article because it did not happen. And his campaign said the allegations trivialize sexual assault and demonstrate a new low for where the media is willing to go to determine this election. Hillary Clinton is having her own struggles, but hers come from the steady stream of hacked emails between her campaign staffers that are being released by WikiLeaks. In a 2015 email titled Needy Latinos, Clinton campaign chair John Podesta urged Clinton to call former Energy Secretary Federico Pena, who is close to committing but carrying some baggage, and former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, notwithstanding the fact that he can be a blank. Clinton blames the leaks on Russian hackers supporting Trump.
That's how desperate they are. That's all they have left, pure negativity.
More hacked emails were released today. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
And the New York Times has confirmed it has received a letter from Trump's lawyers demanding a retraction.
Bob Dylan has been named the winner of the 2016 Nobel Prize in Literature.
Unusual. He's a singer, right? This morning's announcement is the first time the prestigious award has gone to someone primarily seen as a musician. The Swedish Academy cited the American musician for having created new poetic expressions within the great American song tradition. Bob Dylan had been mentioned in the Nobel speculation for years, but few experts really expected the Academy to extend that prestigious award to a genre such as popular music. Well, we have much more news ahead. Here as our new news hour continues on WKYT.
Some Kentucky firefighters who helped with Hurricane Matthew relief have come home. We'll hear from them coming up.
The rain's fading, but the cool air sinking on in here when we have more chances of rain for the weekend. But what does it look like the next couple of days? We're going to go over all that coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We still have a couple of sprinkles and a little drizzle outside as long as those clouds are over us. Low-lying clouds, that's typically what happens when these cold air systems come diving on in here, and that's what we have the rest of the day. Now, I will tell you that. That's mainly for the east and southeast. For central and northern zones, we may get some peaks of sunshine before it's all said and done. Temperatures won't rise much further than what we're looking at right now. So you're sitting around 60 degrees roughly. You actually finish off there in the low to mid 60s. So maybe another 1 to 3 degrees, and that's it. So 63 for our afternoon high. Just a couple of showers. I mean, really just sprinkles left over. Let's talk about your Keeneland forecast. If you're heading out today, know this. It is going to be much cooler than yesterday. I promise you that. 67 for tomorrow. Really, really nice tomorrow. I don't see much of a chance of rain. Can't rule out a small chance on Saturday. I really don't see a great chance of rain there on Saturday, about 40%. And that's mainly for the southern half in the afternoon. Nice temperatures, though, there for the weekend, right around 70 degrees there for Saturday and Sunday. And that goes for all events, including big old court days over in Bath and Montgomery County. So the next few days, there's your breakdown. And you can see it on your 7-day forecast. Looks like we'll get in towards your weekend, guys. Only 30-40% chances of rain, so most stay dry. And it takes you off into next week with another cold front next Wednesday. We're just getting these little shots here and there, and it's starting to feel like fall outside. It does
Yeah,
not.
it really is.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
very chilly, and it looks like it's going to stay that way the rest of the
I
afternoon.
just don't want these dreary skies to stay a long time, you know?
Hopefully we can push that on out. Get a little break here and there and get some sunshine.
Keep working on that.
That would be nice.
Sports is on the way. We're coming right back. The Wildcat freshmen get set to take center stage.
And will one Wildcat coach put on a show again? Dave Baker has sports next.
Checking stocks as we head into afternoon trading. The major market indicators are down.
Every year, John Calipari's freshman roster is filled with five-star players and high school All-Americans, and that's why for nearly every year since Cal arrived, they've been a threat to win the national championship. Part of that group this year is Malik Monk. He comes from an athletically decorated family in Arkansas. He's a pure scorer, and Cal loves that, but he wants him to become a defender as well.
Defense wasn't really a big thing in my in my high school career, but I knew how to play it. I knew because when I got to Bentonville, they taught me how to. They really coached about defense. They taught me all the spots and stuff like that. I know where to be. I just gotta want to play defense. And when I got here, everybody else talked about it. Everybody told me about it. So.
We'll get to see Monk and all those fabulous freshmen at Big Blue Madness tomorrow night. We'll get you ready at 5:30 on the CW Lexington. Countdown to Madness. Christy Thomas will join me. 90-minute preview of this year's Wildcats. And coming up at the top of the hour, we'll stream Coach John Calipari's preseason news conference. That's coming up live on WKYT.com. Now, besides getting their first look at the UK men, one of the biggest questions for this event that is Big Blue Madness, what will women's coach Matthew Mitchell do to top last year? Mitchell says something will go down in the Rupp Arena tomorrow night. You remember him for his Michael Jackson moves and doing the Dougie. Mitchell has lots of fun, but it's humbled him that fans look forward to his routines.
I don't know if the bar's high or if it's low. You know, it's I don't know if it's high or if it's just low on the intelligence factor, because I'm not sure many sensible people would do what I do out there, but for some reason people want to see it and enjoy it, and so I try to have as much fun with it. It's a fun night. I'm happy that people can get some kind of joy out of that few moments of silliness there.
Wow. Mark Stoops updating the status of Matt Elam and Drew Barker yesterday. Stoops said he expects Elam back for the Mississippi State game as long as there are no setbacks. Elam did not play Saturday against Vanderbilt. As for Barker, Stoops said he's being evaluated every day. He said caution is being taken with his rehab. No plans to play him against Mississippi State, and he remains week to week. Speaking of Mississippi State, reported on Wednesday that baseball coach John Cohen will be the next athletics director in Starkville. Although the school's president denied the report, he said no decision has been made. Cohen is a former UK baseball coach. He led the Cats to the 2006 SEC championship. He would succeed former UK assistant athletics director Scott Strickland, who's now the new AD at Florida. Tonight on the Big Blue Insider with Dick Gabriel, it's the Insiders Roundtable from Shamrocks and Patchen Village with John Clay, the Lexington Herald leader, JMI Sports' Brent Carney, and former Wildcat Max Godby. That's all at 6 on 630 WLAP. Coach Cal coming up at the top of the hour on WKYT.com. We'll have a complete wrap-up of Media Day coming up later today. But for now, guys, let's look at sports on this Thursday.
Okay, busy day. Thank you, Buzz.
And just a day away from all the Wildcats out there. I really love hearing that. I can't hear it enough. So.
Right.
And there's more to come in our next half hour of WKYT News at noon.
Bob Dylan has been named the winner of the 2016 Nobel Prize in Literature. Now, we're going to have more on that surprising announcement coming right up.
Also ahead,
I've done plenty of training and plenty of rescue work within Fayette County, but never to this magnitude ever.
a Lexington firefighter is home after traveling to North Carolina to help with the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew. His first-hand account of the devastation is next on WKYT.
Tomorrow's Mega Millions jackpot is $15 million, and Saturday night Powerball jackpot $122 million.